Hey guys, this is Evident here. I'm going to give you a quick tutorial on how to build a two-way TNT flying machine. So this is a TNT duper. It'll go down to one side, fly back to the other, and yeah, let's just crack on it. Alright, so first thing you need to do is you need to build your flying machine base, essentially. So this little contraption here of the observer and the piston, and then I've got a 10-tick circuit behind it, which is going to send it back on its way once it docks on this side. And then right behind that, I've got this line of redstone going all the way down the end that touches each one and essentially locks the piston out. And that's how you stop your flying machine. You can see there in the middle, I've got a lever, and that will fire this one, and then every 4 ticks it'll fire another flying machine. So we've got a cool looking V going across here. You can set these delays to whatever you want. It does not make or break how they actually perform. It just changes, gives you kind of more of a cool V shape as you launch all of them at once. Now, I've got several of them here that are half finished. I've got some down here on the end which are actually ready to go. You can see I've actually been doing some testing over here. Let's head on over to a new bay and we will start working on this. So each section here, you need that observer and piston, and then you need to have 4 blocks in the middle. On the other side, you need to have the exact same setup. You don't necessarily need that solid line of redstone at the back to lock it, because you can lock it on one end, but you can do that at both ends if you want. Now when you're setting up that other side, if you look here, so this observer is going to hit this observer, and it's going to stop here. So at the other end, it's going to be this observer here that meets an observer over there. So these 2 blocks on the other side are going to be pretty much inverted from here and here. So instead of observer piston on the other end where it's going to land, it's going to be observer and piston here. So let's just start working on this. So the bay itself, I've got a solid beam here of stone running across all the way over, and this is just to support this catwalk that I built with the scaffolding. But if you break your scaffolding right here on these 4, because you're also going to need to break the stone on these 4 as well, it creates this kind of a V shape on the front here, because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out from the beam. So as the structure weakens right here, these will break, and this is a great starting point for us to build our flying machine. So I am going to place a slime here, there, and there, and I'm going to create this L shape. Now you notice this is actually from the observer 1, 2, 3 blocks down, and so actually from the observer it's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then from the observer it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks over, and that's where that first slime is going to go. Then you're going to place a stone wall, and you're going to make another L shape right here off of that stone wall. 1, 2, 3, stone wall, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take a sticky piston and we're going to put it right here for later. And then I'm going to come to the back side and I'm going to repeat those steps here. So starting here in line with this, coming back 1, 2, 3 away from it, I'm going to put another slime and make another L shape. Then put the stone there, just like we did on the other side, and make another L shape, just like that. Alright, so now I need to go and break this one temporarily and put a piston right here, and then put that back. Okay, so that is the framework of this whole thing done. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a dead fan coral here. You can also use live coral, but it'll just die after being placed. I'm going to put a TNT right there. I'm going to repeat the same steps over here. TNT under the stone wall and a coral right there, and you'll see that in about 5 seconds it dies. Okay. Then I am going to go ahead and place some observers up top here. So let me hop up here, place an observer this way, facing this piston, and then I'm going to put another observer facing this piston here. Alright, let's go ahead and sleep real quick so that we don't get phantoms on us here. Whenever you're up on a high scaffolding like this, if you have it, totem on dying is just great. If you end up falling and you can't get your elytra out, especially if you're on a server and sometimes it lags and you can't get your elytra working real quick, then have this totem on dying in your hand, and when you hit the ground you just won't die. Alright, let's get back over here. Okay. So now we're going to grab some detector rails. And we're going to go ahead and grab a couple minecarts. And on this slime block right next to the wall, we need to place a detector rail and place a minecart. We need to do the same thing on this side, just mirroring it. Okay? And so just double checking here. Coral, TNT, wall, minecart on rail. Same thing over here, coral, TNT, wall, minecart on rail. Alright, so now the way these work with the TNT duplicators is you can't just build its final form right away. So if we go down and take a look at one of the ones that's already finished and docked, some of these are not complete, but this one's complete. Here we go. Okay, so you'll notice on this one, because it's already been down and back once or twice, the TNT is directly under the minecart. The wall moved over to be right above the fan. This is what it's going to look like after we start flying this puppy. Same thing on this side. But when you build it, you cannot build the minecart directly above the TNT. And I'll show you why over here, because this one actually I ended up messing up. But if we... Let's do this. If we end up putting that TNT under an already laid down minecart, then it just will fire the TNT and it won't stay behind. Alright. I have to waste a couple here probably. It's alright. Okay. See if we can catch these here. Yep, perfect. Okay. So now we can grab a couple minecarts here. I think the back side of this is good. Yep, that one's good. Alright. Grab a minecart. Okay. Let's see here. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and put the minecart up top here. So activate a rail. And, oh, there it is. Minecart. Okay, place that there and I will crouch down. Okay, so if I place a TNT here, it's underneath this activated rail already. And you'll see it just lights and falls. So that's why we can't build it in its final form. We actually have to put the TNT here, and then we have to slide it onto it. So the back half here, you can see also needs the same thing to be done. And that's not a great example because this one is actually already slid backwards. But if you look at these ones here, these ones need to be done because the wall and the minecart is not above the TNT. The wall is above the TNT, the minecart is not. So we're going to have to slide that back here in a minute. So let's go back to this one and we'll show you how to do that here. So to prime this, just grab a button. It breaks as soon as the flying machine moves once. We're going to go ahead and we're going to remove the scaffolding here. And we need to remove the scaffolding all the way around the flying machine, but try not to break the slime. Okay, so we are good to go. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to prime the system. So this piston's out. I'm going to slide it one block back, and it's going to grab that TNT module. So just place your piston, or your button, right here, and you'll catch it again. Now it's slid back. Now you'll see this one here is detached. That's perfectly fine, because once you release this, it's going to fly forward and grab it, and then it's going to be on its merry way. Okay, so let's head back to a finished one, and I'll show you what this looks like, because I am not quite ready to destroy that base yet. So we'll come all the way out here where the damage won't actually matter. So go ahead and just destroy that here. Let's shut off that piston. And where is that? There we go. Put that back. Put that on 4 ticks because I got 10 ticks total here. And then let's go catch up with this guy. Okay. So the way flying machines work, if you've never used them before, is whichever observer that you hit first, it fires the piston next to it. That piston pushes this half of the flying machine forward, and you can see they split in half for a minute. Then when that observer moves here, it tells this piston to fire, and the piston fires, pulling the back half up with it. If you ever watch SciCraft or anything, you'll see those guys build some ridiculous flying machines. Now you'll see how this circuit here works. This is the same as we talked about over there, but offset by 2 and inverted. So when this observer hits this observer, 10 ticks, fires the piston, and it heads back. And you'll see it'll fire the piston twice just because it updates when it arrives and updates when it's leaving. And then you'll also notice only one module is firing TNT. Whatever module is in front is the one that'll fire, and the other one will just go along for the ride. Alright guys, that is it. Hope you like this tutorial, and peace out.